privilege. To the advanced privilege.
A distinguished and resourceful intellectual. His name is Professor Paul Omaji is a highly master professor of technology and security studies, as well as bachelor's of emeritus. He has a BSc in sociology at University, MS in sociology at University, private diploma in social studies from West Africa, Australia, Master of Law in University of Western Australia, PhD in sociology from Australian National University, Canberra. Professor Omaji is an outstanding and well-known international figure in technology and security studies and development. His research interest is elective, cutting across the broad areas of sociology, law, and criminology. With his multifaceted research interest, Professor Omaji has made fundamental, foundational, theoretical, and empirical contribution to the understanding of criminology and leadership in various national contexts. Omaji Leadership Solution and Ventures Leaders Development Network, which he has led as a Chief Executive Officer. His capacity building activities in this area have produced books including his Audacity of Leading Right and Odyssey Towards Virtuous Leadership, and Lead for Life, 7 Essentials of Upright and High Impact Leadership. Professor Omaji is a distinguished and resourceful intellectual. He has demonstrated unswerving dedication to serving the education sector and the wider community through his leadership, expertise, and commitment. Over the years, he has facilitated intellectual and leadership development across Nigeria, Australia, Singapore, India, South Africa, the US, Canada, UK, Sweden, Malaysia. That's not all. Indonesia, Rwanda, Botswana, Namibia, Ethiopia, and Ghana. Recently, he has taken up a second-time appointment as the first substantive Vice Chancellor at Admiralty University of Nigeria in the Bosa Delta State. It is with my great pleasure that I present to you his academic professor, a distinguished and resourceful scholar, an outstanding administrator, and a two-time Vice Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Prof.
The Vice Chancellor of this great university. Because of my focus on leadership now, anywhere I go, I look out for signs of leadership. Because every leader will recreate the organization in his or her own image. And I can assure you, sir, that what I have seen so far and what I've heard so far, those things tell me that you have a great leadership in this place. So thank you for that. The faculty, this wonderful program you put together is an amazing thing. And I'm not surprised that it's been anchored by my son, Professor. About what, 15, 16 years ago, I was the chairman at their wedding. If you look at your program, you will see the photo that he puts there. That photo, I took it about 15 years ago. And as if I read his mind, I thought, if I stand here, you'll be wondering, this is not the person we are seeing in the photo. The person in the photo is more handsome than this one standing. So I brought the same tie that I wore in that photo. the same time 15 years ago. It's called sustainable development. I want to appreciate the participants, particularly, listen to me, are the students. Believe you me, if there is any reason for holding a conference like this, it's because of the students. Our own time, we are nearly in the departure lounge now. But the students, you are the hope of Nigeria today and tomorrow. If you miss it, as we missed it, Nigeria is in trouble. So please take time to get something out of this conference because it's organized for you. I want to appreciate you for being here. And let me thank the Ebonyi state government. As I entered Ebonyi, I noticed there's a difference between Ebonyi and Enugu state. At least, in all the litany of stories about problems, let there be one that will give you some rays of hope. Ebonyi state government seems to be giving us the rays of hope. I had planned to speak for 1 hour, but I can't do that now. My son has pleaded with me to cut it down. So out of the items you are going to see there, I'm going to focus on number 5. Because to me, let me ride on the groundwork that Professor Soludo has laid. He has a silver bullet. And that silver bullet is human capital. Sir, I have my own silver bullet. And that human bullet is what? Leadership. And I'll show you why. I'm going to summarize the entire presentation on one slide. And I'm going to give you my thesis. And I'm going to present that thesis to you in a syllogistic framework. Let's go. That is the major premise. Those of you at the back, can you see it? Good. If you can see, let's read it together. Thank you. That is my major premise. Of course, when you have a syllogistic argument, you have a major premise, there must be a minor premise, correct? Let's see. Can you read together? 1, 2, go. The wicked, national security, the more. That is my minor premise. And of course, the end of a syllogistic argument is that you have a conclusion or a deduction. Here is the deduction. Let's read it together. 1, 2, go. Therefore, my son, Professor Pham, my BC, if you want me to go and sit down now, I can go and sit down. That's my presentation. It's a 22-page paper that I have written. So you are going to have it and read the details. So the rest of the next 10 minutes, let me just ramble around a little bit. But if you forget anything else I'm going to say, please don't forget this one. That is the kernel of my presentation to you, particularly to our students. If we miss this one, Nigeria will remain in trouble. God forbid. Okay, so when we talk about about leadership, some people say, well, Paul, what about followership? There is a saying that a society gets the leadership it deserves. When I talk about leadership, I'm talking about leadership across the board. From the littlest person in the society to the topest person. In my first dispensation as a vice chancellor, I told my university community, everyone here is a leader, including the cleaners. And I burnt that into their consciousness. So much so that at times I will have a meeting like this with professors, with the cleaners, with security men, with the senior management, middle management, and I'll put some tests to every one of us. And the cleaners will come up top. Cleaners. I gave the cleaners one and only one rule. When I enter your toilet, I want to be stand there and have my lunch. Simple. They say, sir, what did you say? I want to stand in the toilet you have cleaned and eat my lunch. It was a tall order. So how can we do it? I said, well, you tell me, what do you need to deliver that to me? And we work together. And I can tell you very proudly that by the time I left Salem University, you could stand in the toilets and eat your lunch. So when I'm talking about leadership, I'm not just referring, for example, in your own situation here, to the vice chancellor alone. I'm referring to you, the student, down there, to cleaners that you have around here. My students, if you have to commit exam malpractice today before you can succeed tomorrow, there is no sustainable development. You want to have sustainable development? Then be a proper leader where you are right now. That's the key. So leadership runs across. And so whether you are a follower because you are not in a position of authority, or you think you are a leader because you are in a position of authority, everyone is a leader. It's how you manifest. So in that case, I want us to rise together and join me to do this leadership declaration that I woke up from sleep when I wrote it over 5 years ago, and it still sticks. Let's rise together. Stand up together. We have been sitting now for a while now. Pick a partner. Take somebody, face that person. Eyeball to eye. And now you are going to repeat after me. And you are not repeating to me, you are repeating to the person in front of you. Are we ready? I am a leader. Actually or potentially. Either way, I have leadership in me. How I manifest depends on me. To be or not to be, I will be a character-centered leader. So help me God. If you can recognize a person that made this declaration to you today, if you can recognize him tomorrow, remind him or her of this declaration that we used to speak in those days. Dialectical language, ontological language, epistemology. So sir, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We do know that Africa is not smiling when it comes to sustainable development. And the reason is very straightforward. Security is a condition precedent. And that is the scarcest commodity we have in Nigeria, in Africa today. So no wonder the situation is a bit gloomy. Alright. I need to move very fast. Again, I don't need to actually give you all these details. You read them in my paper. Okay, these are the goals you are talking about, isn't it? The 17 of them. You have not only 169 targets, you have what? 304 indicators. A bit of on security. And by the way, please, when we are talking about security, and my field is criminology and security studies, I think woe betide the nation that focuses on security only in terms of policing and military operations. For me, there are two fundamental dimensions of security. One is what I call what? The empowerment dimension. And that's precisely what both of you were talking about. Developing an inclusive society where no one is left behind. To me, that is the greatest and the most potent, factor of security anywhere in the world. And then, of course, you have all those which you are going to read. If you look at Buhari's, social investment program, I'm not sure that they actually conceived that program in terms of, security. But then the potentials are embedded in that particular program. How they implement it, I don't know. Whether they do it politically, whether they do it with sincerity or purpose, that is not my business. All I know now is that there is a program that has some elements of empowerment. Are they actualizing it? That is left for our judgment. Then the second dimension of security is what I call the protection dimension. That's where you start talking about hardcore policing, you talk about technological capabilities, defense wear acquisitions, tactical operations, and of course we have seen a lot of operations. Operation Python Dance, Operation Puff Adder, that's the latest one. Operation Awase, Crocodile Smile. I don't know, have any of you seen Crocodile Smile before? But in Nigeria, we make everything possible. All right. Okay. So, but look at the reality about security in Nigeria. For me, I can be captured in two ironies. Sierra Leone and Liberia. Nigeria helped them. Sir, didn't Nigeria help them? Today, going by the Global Peace or Safety Index, those two countries are among the 10 safest countries in Africa. You guess where Nigeria comes? 41. That's irony number one. Then there's irony number two is that while the situation about security is worsening, guess what is happening to the allocations? It's also rising. Let's look at it. These are the top 10 safest countries in Africa. You can see them there. You can see Sierra Leone is number 35 among 163 countries that were surveyed. Look at Liberia, number 63. Look at Nigeria, number what? 148. Irony number one. Irony number two, as I said, you look at what we were in 2014. Nigeria was 151. This last year 148. But look at the amount of money that was allocated to security. So in 5 years we have 5.6 trillion naira to security. And today I'm told that Nigeria is less safe than 5 years ago, than 10 years ago. So what an irony. There are so many paradoxes, to use the language of my brother Charles. So many paradoxes in the nation. But that's the situation now. Now in terms of the connectivity between security and sustainable development, that has already been established and I don't want to belabor it, so I must run. But all I need to point out is that the two of them are what? Conjoined ontologically. Sir, did we confer about this? No, we didn't confer. The two of them are conjoined, like the Siamese twins. You cannot have one without the other. God help Nigeria. So I'm going to run through all this. These are some of the things you find in the paper when you get them. And at the end of the day, what I want to now focus upon is this leadership question. I've already established that everyone is a leader, actually or potentially. But what do we understand by leadership? I've read over 201 definitions of leadership. And I felt I needed to boil them down to something very simple that anyone can carry with them wherever they go. So we start from this. Leadership is what? Influence. Influence is what? Making things happen. Now, here is the trick. All leadership, but not all influence. So we have to distinguish. And in doing that, we look at the types of influence. We have what? Coercive influence. We have manipulative influence, and we call them the pushing influences. Do they give us leadership? No. Let's talk about this one. The third influence is what? Persuasive. And then lastly, sacrificial. That is called the what? The pulling influences. In terms of leadership, the pushing influences do not constitute leadership. Sir, if you put a gun to my head and ask me to follow you and I follow you, does that necessarily make you my leader? What happens when that gun is no longer in your hands? You turn back to look at me and I'm going the other way. Because the power of coercion is no longer with you. Even though in Nigeria we have cultivated this mindset that when I can direct them to go anywhere they go, because I can sack them, because I can kill them, because I can make them miserable. That is coercive influence. If that is what you depend upon, you are not a leader. Or you may say, okay, well, like I can't use force, but I can deceive them. And of course, sir, you do know that in Nigeria today, deception has become, if you like, the norm. They will tell you one thing, and what exactly they mean is completely different. Manipulation can succeed up to a point until people discover your lies. And when they discover your lies, you are finished. You are no longer their leader. Then you talk about persuasive influence. This is the influence that casts a vision and say, my people, where we are now is not where we ought to be. There is a better place we can go, and I know how to take you there. Follow me. Persuasion. I was so incredibly happy to hear my brother, your vice chancellor, say that he wrote the anthem of FUNAI. I was so incredibly happy. Because in that anthem is the encapsulation of the vision that he brings to bear on the university. You cannot follow that vision and go astray. Students in particular, listen to what I'm saying. Don't just sing that song. Just don't sing enjoy the music. And I'm a musician, I play guitar. I don't just enjoy the lyrics or the music, all the acrobatics we do on the keyboard, on the guitar. What are the lyrics saying? Let them burn into your souls. You will not go astray. We talk about sacrificial influence. These are leaders who are prepared to pay whatever the price to get the job done. Leadership, I'm told, is a thankless job. You wait for people to thank you for being a great leader. You will wait for eternity. Go and ask Jesus Christ. Sacrificial influence. To me, these two constitute the authentic leadership that when you are talking about sustainable development or national security, If you go past this, what you have is not leadership. And I want to boil everything down to this. This is my own definition of leadership. Visualization. You can't find it anywhere in the dictionary. This one, you can only find it out in my book. Let's read it together. 1, 2, go. All sacrifice. To me, that is the simplest definition of leadership. And it's about turning the traditional, conventional mantra on its head, where we normally say might is right. No, I'm saying right is might. So I'm talking about the might of right, the power of doing the right thing, the right way, at the right time, for the right reasons. That for me is the essence of leadership. Check yourself. Some of us as students, we're supposed to be consistently reading and studying. We wait until exam is next week, and then we want to burn the midnight oil. Well, check your leadership very well. You are not leading yourself very well. If you are leading yourself very well, you will pace your studies so that it can enter here and here. Knowledge is not about what is in your head alone. It's what is in your head that has now descended into your heart. When you are waking up in the middle of the night, anybody challenges you about anything you have learned, you don't need to rush back to your textbooks. Those who want to do rote learning, sir, you are talking about rote learning. Those who want to do rote learning, hey, you will not go far in life. Because all it takes is just for you to miss either one word or comma, and the rest is gone. You are confused. So lead yourself well by doing what is right at the right time, in the right way, and for the right reasons. So when we recall the syllogistic framework I gave us at the beginning, now everything rises, stands, and falls on leadership. The birthing and nurturing of national security and sustainable development are what? A function of leadership. Simplicity. At whatever level. And thank God, my previous speakers have already alluded to Lee Kuan Yew, and I brought in Dubai here as another example, and then the Nordic countries. You refer to the Nordic countries, the Scandinavian countries, and of course there are some examples we can draw from Africa. What I want to do is actually this particular statement that Professor Soludo mentioned was in terms of the power of meritocracy. I have that video, and let me see if we can see it or watch it now. In the pre-independence and what it is today. These are some of the statements that Lee Kuan Yew himself made when it comes to national development, national security and development. Let's read together. The first one. Can we say that of Nigerian police? Next one, go. Was a state and its future. Talk about security par excellence. Everyone has a stake. And if you have a stake in a society, will you destroy it? No, you will not. Lee Kuan Yew saw that long ago. And within a generation, that was not the mindset of great leaders of those days. So let's look at the secret that he talked about. Let me see if I can get this going. Okay.
In a very poor family in a poor Singapore. So when I was 6 years old, when I went to school for the first day, we were weighed at school. You can see how heavy we were, and I was declared undernourished. So I was put in a special feeding program when I went to school, and the principal had a big claim of milk, and all the children who were underweight were asked to take 1 scoop of milk from the pail of milk. And our house in Singapore had no flush toilet. There was crime and riots, gangster fights in my neighborhood. So in a sense, I grew up in what you call a typical third world environment. And it's quite remarkable that in my lifetime, Singapore has gone from being a third world country to a first world country, and I have lived through this remarkable transformation. I was Dean of the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy for 13 years, from 2004 to 2017, and I would...
That's my own interpretation. Maintain what? Clean head. Don't punish junior people because you have... Start from the head. If anyone mess this up, start from there. We have a country where we have, Mr. Integrity, and I respect my president. But the stories we hear about the presidency is a different thing. And the question is, what will happen from the head? What will happen from the head? So, one more and then I will close. Because we talk about the Dubai miracle. What is miraculous about the Dubai experience? No, of course we can see that it started, from a very basic listing. But in terms of the techniques, number one is what? Number two? And number three? You guess it right. You guess it right. And you want to say that? I'll play this in fact it's less than 1 minute. I'm sure some of you have seen it already. Have you? Alright, watch it.
A lot of people wonder how Dubai became a very big, famous and rich city.
You see, if you're comparing with Nigeria, listen to this. Nigeria has oil before than Dubai. It's a history. They are more rich than us. They have agriculture, they have mining, they have everything, you name it, they have it. Am I right or wrong? When you have a true leadership, which we have nothing, but we have everything because we have the right leadership. That's the only thing you need, a right leader in your country, not corruption. That's what brings your country to the top. You don't need anything. We got water. We don't have agriculture, we don't have mining.
And that's been impressive.
And that's Sheikh Mohammed. Number one, he doesn't know number two, he needs only number one. He says, I don't know, there's no number two in my book. Only number one.
And yeah, he doesn't ride in the convoy. Exactly.
Okay. Look at the points there, look at the points. National security is not a mystery. Material resources alone do not make a country great. The key is what? True leadership. The right leaders lead their country to the top. Security and sustainable development inclusive. So with leadership, let's do it together. With got you everything. All right. I'm going to skip these ones here. The Nordic countries, we can see their leadership profile. And some African countries, I will encourage you, go to Mo Ibrahim website. The Mo Ibrahim Award. In fact, it's even it's larger than Nobel Prize. What he gives to former African heads of government that performed very well and at least have element of integrity and honesty. He gives them, $5 million every year for 10 years. And then after that, he gives you $200,000 continually for the rest of your life. And so far, the first award was in 2007, and today we are supposed to have about 12 of such now. How many do we have? 6. Which means in 6 years, he could not find any retired or, gone African leader that qualified for the award. And no Nigeria, thank you very much. I remember in 2016, our own president, ex-president, Goodluck Jonathan was actually put forward. But then they say there was too much blood on his hands, too much corruption on his hands. So he missed out. So the point I'm making there is, you would notice that leadership is what is the key here. And you talk about what type of leadership can accelerate. I'm just rushing through this now. My notion is what I call transfigurational leadership. In other words, when I survey the challenges in Nigeria, I think Nigeria has gone past what a transformational leader can do. You need a transfigurational leader. And when you read my paper, you will see the details that I've given there. What they look like. These are some of their, I made a portrait of what transfigurational leaders can do, and you can read them later. All right? In Nigeria, when you have such a leadership, the team will provide proper envisioning and empowerment. Next one, let's read it together. Inculcate. Okay? Yes? Yes? Thank you very much. What does that leadership, what does it do again? Champions not the causes of state, tribe, or religions, but focus what? Need, deeds, pronouncements, which and positively impact the entire citizenry of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is the kind of leadership I'm talking about. Such leadership will do what? Dethrone chauvinism, tribal redemptism, and religious bigotry. And then what happens? These are the three satanic causes. I call them satanic causes. There's a book written by Salman Rushdie. He calls them the satanic verses. So I adapted this from there. Okay? Alright? And then what does the leadership do? It causes what? The citizens. Let's read it together. To flourish in security and sustainable development and become radiant. I lived in Australia for over 20 years. I left there, returned to Nigeria in 2008 to start the university in local journey. And when I completed my tenure, I went back. By the time I went back, I had turned 60 years old. Before I got there, a letter was waiting for me. Sir, congratulations. We noticed that you have turned 60. Here is a healthcare kit. Go to any hospital, give them the samples, check whatever results. We want to make sure that we look after your health. When did they get my details? In 1988. When I went there to do my PhD. I never gave them any other detail apart from what they got in 1988. 1988, I was only about 30-something years. When I turned 60, no prompting from anybody. They sent me a letter. And I went and did the test. Everything clear. They said, hey, you look too healthy for your age. A nation that cares. A nation that cares. Transfigurational leadership. And let me conclude now with a few of these. SDGs are not just current and topical, they are another set of laudable aspirations. Thank you, sir. That's the point you're trying to. They are aspirations. They are not things that you can even rely upon and get a country anywhere. But they provide frameworks for you to think creatively how to lead your country. Okay? There's nothing magical about accelerating, sustainable development. Okay? In Nigeria, using these goals. What is the key? Righteous political leadership, which, let's read together, guarantees and configuration of national security. And then does what? Institutionalizes the mechanisms for implementing the SDGs. That's the point my brother was making. We have no institutions. We have platitudes. We have ad hoc arrangements. Sir, you are talking about what's happening, in Nigeria. We have the office of the Senior Special Advisor to Mr. President on SDGs. The two arms of the National Assembly, they have standing committees on SDGs. We also have a presidential SDG council. There are about 4 or 5, but all of them are ad hoc. Nothing institutionalized. And if you look at the life of the Scandinavian countries, these are the characteristics of what they did, that they are now the top 4 countries that are leading in SDGs. Sweden, where's my Swedish brother? Where else? There you are. Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and what? Finland. And Finland. They are the 4 that have been leading since 2016, when this particular framework was introduced. And I'm finally looking at what I call the necessary leadership intelligence. If you are down here, which is where I think most of our leaders have been in this country, either at the cohesion level or what? The state level. When it comes to persuasion and sacrifice, that requires more competence. And that requires a greater character. And that's where we are lacking as a nation. We just remain with programmed areas of this. When it comes to non-programmed areas where we can think, not just outside the box, but as our brother Soludo say, without the box. That's where it happens. Non-programmed. That's where it happens. And so you can see that the more you move from the base here to the top, the more you see that the leadership requirement broadens out. And Nigeria, have we been able to upskill ourselves, capacity build ourselves to get to this level of operation? That is what we are all looking for. The failure to achieve SDGs with the requisite leadership may be a recipe for what? Let's read it together. Social and may righteous leadership arise, get Nigeria secure and sustainably developed. Thank you very much.
Footage.